My resupply boxes have been sitting in the corner of my room with some weights on the top, just to make sure that doesn't accumulate any air into the boxes. Still have a few more things to pack in there, but 20 boxes pretty much ready to go. So today is a pretty big day for me. I have been planning and planning and planning as far as nutrition goes for the trail. And not only have I been planning, but I've been testing. So I've created meals and created plans and did all of the calculations for protein and carbs and fat and experimented and took it out on trail. And so coming to these decisions has been a long process, and I'm excited for what I've decided. And so today I will pack my first 2 boxes in the way that they will be shipped to me, and I will walk you through that process. As I mentioned in another video, my mom is sending me resupply boxes. So the first thing that she will do is pull out 2 resupply boxes, and she's going to take out a couple of things. So there is a bag of fruit. There is another bag of fruit. Oops, wrong way. There is a bag of macadamia nuts. And that's in one box. And then in the other box, I have walnuts and cashews. So that's what my mom will do. She'll take those out, and then each box has a 2 Ziploc bags, one for fruit and one for nuts. And she'll put half the fruit in one and half the nuts in one, and then the leftovers will go to that second box. The reason for doing the nuts and fruit like this is because I purchased items that don't have the added ingredients to keep them stable. So there's no preservatives in them. They're just fruit and very limited with sugars and things like that. So they won't last long. Additionally, I don't want these walnuts sitting in a resupply box opened for 6 months, because nuts go rancid fairly quickly. And cashews, when mixed with other nuts, often makes them really soft. And so I don't like that either. So I'm being really picky, but this is a way that I'm able to do it. She'll do 2 boxes at a time, and then that gives me plenty of time. So there they are. This is half of each bag for nuts and for fruit. Now you might be wondering why I chose the fruit that I did. Well, what I found is that most fruit mixes are really just full of raisins, and I wanted a variety. So I was able to locate this one, which has some figs, some apricots, some sour cherries, and strawberries. So the mix is nice. They are really large pieces. I don't think you can see them here, but that I liked as well to snack on. And then this one has cranberries, it has blueberries, and it does have some cherries as well. But the thing I really liked is it has goji berries, and goji berries are high in protein. And so I think the combination of those is great. I will be able to put them in things like my oatmeal for breakfast. I'll be able to snack on them. I can throw them with a handful of nuts in a wrap, or with peanut butter on some sort of bread. I can use them a lot of different ways, and so I'm excited about that. And moving on to the nuts, so I chose cashews. One reason is I just like to snack on cashews. They're high in fat, and there's something that I can eat while hiking that doesn't upset my stomach. So that's great. I also like to throw cashews in my meals, so curries, and sometimes even with just like a Mediterranean style couscous or something like that. The
Macadamia nuts are really high fat, and so that's a great source of calories for a very small, lightweight type of food. I can as well put those in with my oatmeal. I can throw them, just down them with a couple of pieces of chocolate, which is really good, and then add them to any other meals that I would like. And finally, the walnuts. So walnuts are really high in omegas, and they are a great staple to have. I eat a lot of walnuts at home. I can use them in all the ways that I mentioned. I like them in a pesto type meal, and I've created a couple of those. I like them with fruit in a wrap. I definitely like them on my oatmeal in the morning. And I purchased these in the baking section. So the nice thing about that is they're much cheaper than if you try to find them in the nuts.
Now for the whole resupply breakdown. So we'll start with morning coffee. I generally like a cup of coffee before I even have breakfast. I have a variety of packets here. I shared earlier that I got them on a discount, so about 50 of them for $1. And so I brought extra, and I'll throw them in a hiker box if I don't have them or pass them out. This bag contains 6 protein oatmeal combinations. Most of them are oats. Actually, one of them is quinoa. And so I will use that as a base for my breakfast. I will add in things like the nut mix that I talked about, a scoop of peanut butter, or I could even add in some walnuts or anything else I want. So that will be my breakfast. I will put an Element packet. I've been using Element for like 3 years. I love these as electrolytes. I will add that into my water in the morning, perhaps finish with another cup of coffee. I like coffee, but depends on my fuel and how many days my fuel can is lasting me. I might skip that second cup depending. So I have a couple of snack bars for basically when I'm hungry and I'm still hiking. I love these 2 companies, Thunderbird and Piggy Bars. They both are date-based bars, but the thing that I really like is they have some interesting combinations like pecan, goji, pistachio. These are nuts that, the pecan and the pistachios are nuts that I'm not bringing, so this gives me a lot of nutrition variety. There's some other really interesting ones like this matcha bar. Similarly, the Picky Bars have some really cool flavors and fun names. This is Chai Catch Me. There's a turmeric one, there's a ginger one, and I think that it's just going to provide me a lot of variety here. So those are my snack while hiking bars. I can also snack on things like these beef sticks or even these meat and vegetable bars, but I'll get back to those. I'll have treats throughout the day, some almond M&Ms, some dark chocolate, ginger chews, especially if my stomach starts to bother me. I love Fireballs, and then just a few caramel Werther's candies. So after a day of hiking, I am going to finish the day while I'm setting up with these higher protein bars. I love these. There are only 3 ingredients. On particularly hard days, I'll go with a 20-gram protein bar, and otherwise I'll have these Snickerdoodle bars. They're 18 grams. And so that I will eat as I set up camp, because when I have these bars, I find that it's hard for me to hike. My stomach will get upset. And then for dinners, I guess I skipped lunch. So lunches will be a combination of things. Most of my lunches I'll get in town when I pick up my resupply box. I will also stop by the grocery store or anything else I can find to get wraps or fresh fruit, or maybe even a bag of spinach, which I've found has lasted like 3 days. Bagels, cream cheese, things like that. Hummus. On days that I can't find anything, it'll just be simply, you know, maybe a wrap with some peanut butter and some dried fruit, or even some tuna. I don't really like carrying tuna with me. It smells and it's messy. But I think that this just provides with another source of protein, and I don't have any other seafood here. So I'm definitely taking one a week, and I'll use that at lunch, or even just to eat out of the packet would be fine. Additionally, I talked about these. These are meat and vegetable bars, and they've got great varieties. So I have lamb, I have turkey, I have pork, and they've got kale and other fun vegetables in there as well. So that will be lunches. Of course, if it's a big day and I can't sit down for lunch, I can just snack. And so I have plenty of snacks to do that. Now moving on to dinner. So the first meal I'll have after my resupply, of course, that is after gathering something in town that's yummy to eat, I will have a good to go meal, backpacker meal. The reason I like these is because I will use this as a cook pot. So when I'm done with a meal, I just dump some water in it, swish it around, and drink the water. I know some people don't like doing that. It doesn't bother me. And then I will save this, and it becomes my cook pot for my homemade meals. I really like this company. I spoke to their representatives at Trail Days. They're awesome. And I like that the package is not very tall, like some of the other backpacker meals. So although I do have a long handled spoon, I don't really need one. I also like that the calorie count is pretty low for these single servings, because I tend to be more of a snacker. Big meals at the end of the day are really hard, but if I have this protein bar right when I finish, and then have a backpacker meal or my own created meals, which are similar in calories, then I can have a treat at night. So the meals I created, I have 3 noodle recipes and two couscous recipes. They're slightly different, but they both have, they all have vegetables. Dehydrated, Harmony House, I bought them already done, but they're pretty bland. They don't have a lot of additives in there. What I've done, and I did a video about this separately, is I've created a pantry of things. So I have some falafel, which I'll mix with the couscous. I really like that. I have some nutritional yeast. So actually I misspoke. This one actually there's a rice meal, not in this box, but in most of my other boxes. So that will be cheesy rice and broccoli with the nutritional yeast. I have some butter powder, so I'll throw that in there as well. I can do buttered noodles. I have some spice packets, so I really like Trader Joe's Sofritos packet. It has sun-dried tomatoes, it has some chili flakes, things like that. It's a little bit spicy. I have another packet, which is Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning. So if I want like a garlicky meal, then I'll throw that in there. And then I have one surprise spice. So I went through my spices just to clean them up a little bit and get rid of the ones that will go bad while I'm gone. I put something different in every week. So it could be a taco week, it could be a curry week, just a variety of things, and that'll be a lot of fun. And then I do have a couple of olive oil packets. Now this particular packet I found does leak, so I'm just using them up, but I've put them in an additional bag just so that they don't get all over my resupply boxes. I'm using more plastic that I like, but I've also heard stories of things like couscous exploding in resupply boxes. So I want to make sure that if anything should happen in transit, that everything is kind of separate. So I mentioned the candy, my little treats, but in the first few weeks, especially when it's still winter, I have some hot chocolate. This is homemade hot chocolate, and that's it. I'll get it all in the box, show you what that looks like, and then we'll weigh it. So here's the box packed. There's very little room, and this is a Priority Mail medium flat rate box. It's $17 for me to ship, and the next size up, the large one, is $24 or something like that. So I really wanted everything to fit in this box, and it does. Now there are a few items that my mom will add in separately. I'll show you those in a moment. But I'm excited and relieved that everything fits in here. It will save me a lot of money. Now let's get it on the scale. This box is 6 days worth of food, 2,500 calories and about 100 grams of protein per day. I will add to it in town, adding an additional 500 to 1,000 calories of food per day. This will be in the form of fresh food as well as anything else I want. So if I want to eat Snickers for a week for lunch, then I'm going to do that. But this gives me variety, but a base of nutrition. So what does it weigh? This weighs 8 pounds, just over 8 pounds for 6 days of food. Not too bad. Then what? Well, when I receive my food, I'm going to put it in this. This is a Bearikade Weekender, and I used it on the Colorado Trail and fell in love with it. I've done a lot of bear hangs in the last, 4,000 miles, and this was just so easy. I really like the fact that my food stays where I put it and remains unsmashed, especially for a long food carry, like 6 days. I can keep most of it on the bottom, the things that I'm eating for the day on the top. And there will be times that the rest of my kitchen, so to speak, will fit in the can. On days that it doesn't, it will be either on the side of my pack or someplace else. We'll see where it fits. So this is the bottom of the can. I really like that things stay sorted. You can see I can have all of my bars here and also some in here. So for the day, I'll just pull out a bar and the rest will stay there. Same with the beef sticks. And on this side, I have my bag of electrolytes and coffee and my other meat bars that I can pull out. And then I have my meals. And the way that they're set up is that I just reach in and grab one off the top, so everything else stays put. I'll add in the second layer. Before I add in that layer, I want to point out a few things and kind of walk you through my kitchen setup. So I have a Toaks cook pot. I have a backpacker mug, a cold soak container. I'll get to what I use that for. My spoon, a lighter, fuel canister. This is the MSR Pocket Rocket. And I have a cut up bandana that I use to wipe things down or to protect the cook, whatever this is, while it's in the pot. And then I also include my personal care items. So I have toothpaste, a toothbrush, a tongue scraper. For those who hike with me, they know I prefer the tongue scraper. If I had to give up one over the toothbrush, I would keep the tongue scraper. It's amazing. And then I do have some lotion. So I get really dry, chapped feet. They often crack, and so I'm going to need this specifically during the colder months. So how do I use it? Well, I don't do a lot of cold soaking, but I like to have my coffee with my oatmeal in the morning. So I will start a full pot of water. When it's ready, I will pour out a cup of coffee, throw the rest in my Talenti container and get the oatmeal going, drink my coffee, and then I will add a second cup of coffee, probably, depending on, again, I'm gonna start with a small canister of fuel and we'll see how that goes. I often will put my personal care items in my backpacker mug. If I have snacks for the day, sometimes they go in the Talenti jar. If I wanted to do any type of cold soaking, I could do it in there. Sometimes it stays empty. Oh, I forgot to mention, partially because you can't even see it, I made a homemade windscreen. So I just got a piece of titanium, punched some holes in it, and when I'm out on trail, I'll show you how that works. Actually, I did a whole video on it, so you can look back and find that video. I will put my fuel canister in. I wrap my stove with the cloth, set that inside. This thing keeps wanting to pop out. I'm not sure why. My lighter goes in, top goes on, and then I use this to secure it. I don't have to. A friend gave it to me, and so I just keep it, but it is nice to have. It's not necessary. Everything fits but my stove and my cook pot. This is the backpacker mug with my personal care items. The Talenti jar container is in there with the nuts on top, and peanut butter, fruit, my little pantry with condiments and spices, and my snacks. So everything fits in. Really nice. I will probably just carry this in my pack somewhere. Truth is that even though everything fits right now, most of the time when I pick up my box for the first time, I will also have some other fresh food. So that means that a lot of the kitchen items will reside somewhere else in my pack, either on the outside pocket or one of the side pockets or inside the pack. It'll probably vary depending on how much space I have. And I'm just really excited that not only is my food 8 pounds for 6 days with all the calories I really need. I mean, I'm aiming for 3,000 to 4,000 calories. So at 2,500, it's a bit short, but I will be able to make up some of that in towns and also when I'm able to carry stuff out from the towns, and that makes me happy. And the other thing that makes me happy is it all fits in the bear can, which was something that I was a little bit concerned about. So it's in there, it's ready to go, and I'm excited. If you want more information, so I did do a couple of other videos on thoughts on nutrition and things like that. I am sharing a post on the trek, which will include the breakdown of the calories with some images and some calculations. So when that blog post is done, I will also put the link to that in the show notes here. Or you can go right to the blog, I'll link to that, and you can start to follow it so that you'll see when the post comes out. If you're a subscriber, you'll get a notification. It's me again. I forgot to show you what my mom might add in. I've put some basic stuff, extra toothpaste, things like that, into a box. Also, my summer gear swap, which will include a bug net for my hammock and also some Injinji socks and a lightweight base layer that I'll swap out with my heavy layer. So if there's room, my mom will add things like this, or if I need them, I'll let her know. I will also have her add some things that I'm leaving behind that I might change my mind on. So that's fingernail clippers or a cuticle clipper. This is just an extra pair of glasses for my phone, a tick remover, some extra hair bands, and another power block that I might use depending on how fast my phone battery drains. I'm using this teal tape so that my boxes stand out a little bit. And then I have this little ice cream sandwich that she'll send at some point. So this is the rest of my gear closet. If there's anything else that she needs, she can grab it here. And this is my summer underquilt. So that's ready for her as well. Should something not fit in the smaller boxes, I do have a couple of the larger size boxes that she could ship in.